Hey everybody, this is sort of like just a quickie. Welcome to the Toronto Business Journal, of course, and I am your host, Santosh Chris, aka Jack Bliss. You can always also call me Sunny. So yes, I just wanted to make this quick video because there's a lot of hate. I don't know if you, of course, let me just get started with the show itself. It's called The Rings of Power. I'm sure you've all heard of it, and I thought it was a great show, actually. It's based, of course, on the second age of Lord of the Rings. And I find that there's a lot of mixed reviews of it out there. And it seems to be primarily a lot of hate towards the show. And I think it's a little bit uncalled for. I mean, yes, the show does have its goofy moments. Don't get me wrong. It does have plenty of those. But I think they're kind of missing the whole point of the show. It's kind of I think this is what I'm getting from the show is that there's more layers to evil than just black and white. You know what I'm saying? And of course, don't get me wrong, the original Lord of the Rings will always be the masterpiece. I mean, nothing. I don't think anything in 100 years is going to ever even come close to Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings. Never. I doubt that. So it's a very unfair comparison, to be honest. If you're going to compare the original Lord of the Rings trilogy with something like, Rings of Power. No, you're not going to get that. Of course not. But, so, what I think the showrunners have done really, really well is they've set themselves apart from the movie pretty well. I don't know if it was deliberate or that's just what they wanted. But, so what they've gone ahead and done is they've made it very unique. They've given us a very unique take on things. And like I said, it's not perfect. It's far from perfect. There's a lot of goofy moments in this show, but it's almost kind of endearing. It's kind of like, these bad things do happen in life. Like, for instance, I think there was the sword that was used to trigger Mount Doom. One of the characters, he had the sword, and what happened was he thought he had the sword, and it was actually switched out. And, in a bag or something. He thought it was a sword, but it was something else. And then the actual sword was used to trigger Mount Doom. So it's goofy, yes, but that's kind of real life, if you really think about it. Because we're always looking at Lord of the Rings as if it's this grand lore, this perfect story of beginning, middle, and end. Yeah, it's too, like, it's almost to the point where it's almost a little bit artificial. But Rings of Power captures something that's a little bit more like real life, like these funny conversations they have, like the dwarf Durin, I think, he tells Lord Eldron, "Give me the meat and give it to me raw." Like, so funny because that's how friends talk with each other. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, Lord of the Rings, it tends to be very like almost like the Bible. It tends to be like this big verse. It's like Psalms and, these quotations, that things that you can quote. And but sometimes Rings of Power, it just throws in those one-liners. It's just like how friends would talk now. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I really like the show, and especially my favorite part, of course, is Sauron, and they're showing a different side to Sauron. Like, the thing I liked about it the most, I think, out of everything, was how they showed that Sauron could be amongst anyone. It could be anybody that can even be Sauron. It could be the guy you were helping out in life could turn out to be Sauron. The guy, or hey, even the woman. Who knows? Like. Or so it's very unpredictable who Sauron was, and they kept that really, really that tension really well. Yeah, a lot of people guessed it. Yes, it was always Haldron. Spoiler alert. Yeah, I thought that was really, really, really well done. It was very unique. I enjoyed it way more than The Hobbit. I'll tell you that, because The Hobbit, for me, I watched it all three movies. Should have been just one movie, to be honest, but whatever. It was good. But it was trying too hard to be Lord of the Rings. It wasn't trying to be The Hobbit. It was just trying to be another Lord of the Rings that just features the Hobbit, and it's very forgettable at the end of the day. The only thing that was good about the Hobbit was the dragon, Smeagol or whatever, and Bilbo was good. The dwarves are, they were all right. I don't. There's nothing. There's nothing I can actually think about after I watched it. Really, nothing that. But this Rings of Power, it keeps me up at night. Like, I don't know. It's very unique. It's just it keeps me up, man. It's like, what? Wow, you're right. This is very different take to it, and they're showing a different tiers of evil and how it works, so that we can better understand it and we can prevent it. It's not so black and white. It's more like shades of gray, and that's the real world. Let's face it. That's how the real world is. I mean, if you want to take a look at our really really bad people in history, like, okay, let's go to Hitler, for example. Like, it's a good example. Yeah, he had a lot of supporters. He was charming. He knew how to get the crowds going. He had a lot of those good qualities that he used kind of against the people. And I guess, I don't want to get into all the controversies here, but whatever. I mean, people supported him. Maybe he did a few good things here and there. So that's kind of, I like that. It's not like, oh, this Sauron is such a bad guy. He's so evil. He's such a tyrant. He's pure evil. There's no such thing as pure evil. Let's face it. There's no such thing as pure good. There's no such thing as pure evil. It does not exist. I don't care. You can go into the Bible and I can show you stories where you'd even think God is crazy or he's doing something bad. Like, and it's. I'm just saying. I'm just putting that out there. Now, I don't want to get sidetracked, but so the Rings of Power is a very good show. I don't think the critics on YouTube are being entirely fair. In fact, I think they're being very harsh and being very comical and hating on it. And yeah, like I said, it has goofy moments, but the good things, they do it really well. And the Harfoots, let's get to that. They are so cute. I really, really, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, okay, it's kind of being like hobbits, I guess, whatever. But I really liked how they found, let's just call them Gandalf or Ishtar or whatever he is. They found the character, and before the really, really powerful, Nazgul or Nazgirls, whatever, they find them, Feminem, as they call, before they found it, the wizard or whatever he is, and it was so endearing that those little Harfoots, they found this guy and they just sort of, out of the kindness of their heart, oh, he's an older guy, let's just help him out, otherwise he'll be eaten by wolves or whatever. Just that kindness, and that, I think it was also her kind of like her femininity really came out. Of the little girl, and I thought that was so endearing. I thought it was really, really endearing, and she had that very nurturing quality to her, and she rescued some guy she didn't even know. It's quite large, much bigger than any of them, and he also seemed pretty rough at the start, but somehow she was able to kind of tame him and kind of sort of mold him in some ways. And maybe that's why this Gandalf character has so much love for the hobbits. Maybe it was those girls that really helped him become the great wizard that he went on to become. So it's really giving you that masculine and the feminine energy so well that even if you could be the most powerful man, but you still need that kindness, that femininity, that nurturing skills. These girls just naturally had, and it was so beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to season 2, because I think really I think it's gonna be good. It's gonna be the writers of the show are getting some a lot of negative feedback, but I think this is gonna help improve them. Just get a little bit of that those wrinkles out of the way, just make these little corrections that will really, really help the show. And Yeah, like I said, just the others. And Adar. Oh yes, I almost forgot Adar. Oh my God, what a phenomenal character. I think he's my favorite. I think I like him even more than Sauron. And wow, the way he's like explaining to Galadriel, the orcs also have their right to exist. After all, it's kind of a very sad story, right? And if you read the whole lore, you'll know that it was Morgoth, the evil Maiar, who corrupted these elves, these kind of innocent good elves, and like molded them into like this orcs or Uruk as he calls them. And it's a very sad story and how they came into being. So I guess, yeah, I mean, you could just kill them all, but maybe there should be some dialogue, like saying, hey, why don't we give you this part of Middle Earth, and you stay there. You don't just don't like spread and try to take over the other kingdoms or whatever. That there could be like some kind of peace between them. And Adar really he brought his kindness to the orcs. Well, he is an part orc, I guess. I'm guessing. I don't know the full extent to what he is, and he really he becomes like their father, and he has this empathy towards them. And I thought that was very endearing. And like I said, very very unique, extremely unique stuff here. And maybe the world is not ready for this level of writing. I'm not sure, because we tend to keep things categorized, right? Bad guys are bad, good guys are good. Maybe once in a while we'll throw in a bone, maybe the good guy needs to learn his lessons and become better, and then but yeah, good and evil have their purpose, just like light and dark. It can't always be sunny outside. Some days it has to rain, and of course every day the sun it has to become night at some point so that you can sleep. So the yin and the yang, it's more of a spiritual kind of show, and that's about it. Galadriel could have been a little bit better written, in my opinion. Her fighting sequence, like teaching the Numerians how to fight orcs, that was a little. It was, like I said, this is a lot of goofy moments. I just laugh it off. I think the actress that plays Galadriel was really cute, but she could just work a little bit on her acting a bit. I think Galadriel is probably the weakest link so far, and she also happens to be the main character. So, but I do like she does kind of make a bit of a comeback towards the end, especially when she discovers that it was her who helped Sauron all this time. And I think there's a lesson in that too, because her hate, she had so much hate against the orcs and what they did to their Sauron, what they did to the brother. She was blinded. She would take anybody's help, and he inadvertently wound up helping Sauron himself. Now, tell me that is not a great story. That is a fascinating story. That is very, very fascinating. Because I love the Galadriel, and of course Lord of the Rings. She was amazing. She also had her own moment there, and she was different. So maybe that's an older Galadriel, right? So remember, this is a much younger Galadriel. So she's still learning her ways of. She still has that hatred of orcs because of what they did to her brother, whom she really loved. I love the beginning of the movie, beginning of the show, by the way, where the brother and the sister have this beautiful exchange about how the brother says, one must touch the darkness to understand. Because if you're pure good and you don't know what bad is, are you really good, or are you just ignorant? That's what. You have to know good and bad, and then choose good. That's I think my philosophy in life. You have to know right and wrong. I mean, you can't just nobody can just be like a purely innocent person and be considered good, because they're just ignorant at that point, right? So I think that's what they're going for here, and I really like the show. And if you don't, I totally understand. But I think it's right up there, this show. I think it will do great. The audience might not be fully ready for it. The unique take they've taken of it, and I'm really looking forward to watching the second season. I'm gonna actually watch the first season probably again, which I haven't done with The Hobbit. I do not watch The Hobbit again. Did not. Sorry, I watched it once. Great. The only scene I really liked was when Bilbo spared Gollum in the beginning of the movie. The first part. The first part was okay, but after that, it was just like, you're just after making money at that point, man. You don't need three movies to cover that story at all. Maybe two at the best. But but Rings of Power is taking a big risk. This is a really, really, really big risk. I hope they win in the end because they've spent a lot of money on this show. It looks good. It looks good for its budget. I want to just touch on that as well. I think it's a decent looking show. I mean, maybe it could be a little bit better. Maybe if you, it's really just, I'm just nitpicking here. And yeah, so let us know in the comments if you have any about the show and what you think of it. I personally will give it a solid 7 out of 10. That is my rating for the show. I think it could be better, of course. It's no Lord of the Rings. No, not even close. But it's still a decent TV show that is really touching on things that are very dear to my heart, like how we can live with good and bad in this world and make the best choices we can. We can be good, as the wait, what's that guy's name? Let's just call him Gandalf. Character says, "I'm good," because he was given a choice of being evil, like the Nazguls or whatever. Those girls were like trying to say, "You are Sauron. You are bad. You are going to face. You are going to go to this place, and you are going to become the true dark master that you are meant to be." But he chooses good because he had because he had the love of the Harfords, and like they helped him out when he was really, really down and out, and he didn't know anything. They really helped him out, and I think that's a really beautiful story because he was able to choose good. So in your life, you will have a lot of bad. There's always going to be junk food around you. There's always going to be temptations. There's always going to be all kinds of, let's just say it, bad whatever things in your life, and sometimes you have to go through it, man. Like it's not black and white out there. Sometimes you gotta go through the tough days. You have to make the bad choices to learn from them, learn why they are bad choices in the first place, and then you can become better than just somebody that's purely innocent, doesn't know bad at all, and just sort of like meanders through the world like some kind of pure. It's highly impractical, and it's not real. It's not the real world. And I think Rings of Power has really captured something from the real world. Even the goofiness aspect, the dialogue is so. It's not Tolkien like. No, it's it's something different. For me, they've hit home, and so yeah, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. And I hope the showrunners don't get too dismayed by all the bad feedback they're getting, because I think it's a little bit like harsh. Let's be honest out there. It's funny though. The memes are funny. It's getting people talking. That's hard for a show to do these days. Think about it. How many people are talking about this show? Not just because it's so, a $1 billion show. They're also talking about it because it's easy to poke fun at, I guess. But it's also got a lot of good things going for it. So hope the showrunners can not be too disappointed. And there are a lot of fans of it out there, but maybe they're afraid to speak out because the feedback on the internet is not very good. And they all tend to like kind of group think, I find, the popular critics. So I don't know. I think this is kind of exposing the critics as well to a certain degree. Like, why are they all hating on the show and making fun of it? And like it has nothing to offer. Like, come on, get out of here. It's not that bad at all. I think it's a good show. I think it's not a great show, but it's a very good show. It's very unique, and I'm glad that mainstream media is finally releasing something has the courage to release something like Rings of Power. And I hope the second season goes well. And good luck to the writers and the directors. Learn from this. And make the greatest show and make us all proud, and And let the critics hate all they want, but you know what? You are the creator. Remember that. The critics will come and go. Like they'll just no, they're not creating. They're just reviewing things. But you're creating, and all the actors and the set designers, the director, the writers, all that pressure, all that costume work that's being done. It's just wow. It's a lot of work, and I wish you all the best, and yeah, really looking forward to the second season. And I'm a proud, of course, Amazon Prime subscriber. So hey, I thought this show would just like try to become like the next Hobbit, but you went a different direction, my friend, and for that I do commend you. But there's a lot of work to be done, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe the second season will just blow everybody out of the water. The critics will have to eat their own hat, eat their own words, and I hope so. God bless. Take care.